Shalom, shalom, friends. Well, if you were with me today at our noon class, you know that we got on the topic of Jacob today, and we mentioned a little bit ahead of time in his life story, but still, we mentioned about Jacob being a wrestler, that he was wrestling with God, actually. And I alluded to the fact that, of course, Jacob's name would be called Israel, and we are, in fact, the meaning of Israel. We are the ones who are wrestlers ourselves. And it's an interesting idea, an interesting thought. The word wrestle that appears in the book of Genesis in Bereshit, Yeavek is the word that is used, and its root word is to be dusty or to be dirty. It comes from the same word as dust, like dust to dust, ashes to ashes, that word, dust. And so what it meant is that Jacob was willing to get in the dirt. He was in the dirt, wrestling with God, wrestling with the essence of this relationship, and how he was going to manage his life. And for us as Jews, adopting Jacob, Yaakov, as our patriarch and as our namesake means that we were willing to say, yes, we will continue wrestling. We're not done with the wrestling. And for generations after generations, for thousands of years now, we have spent our time wrestling, debating, considering, thinking, looking around at our neighbors and others and how they and their faith patterns and faiths. And we're perfectly comfortable with being down in the dust. We're perfectly comfortable with getting dirty and coming up with more questions than we do answers. It's counterintuitive in a way because in Western thought, a lot of people turn to religion and say, religion is so that I will know the answer. Let me know the way. I want to know the answer. That's what religion is for, is to tell me the answer. And we, in our tradition, say, no, religion is not to tell me just the answer. It's to allow me to ask even more questions. The fact of the matter is, the entire Talmud is a book of rabbis asking questions and arguing with one another about whatever topic is on their mind at that time. And in many cases, the topics are so arcane and so trivial and so outside of lived life that we can't even imagine why are they arguing for these topics. They're arguing because they have discovered something very true and very at essence of humanity. And that is, we are questioning sentient, thinking animals that want to ask questions, want to probe, and want to explore. That is our very nature. And rather than to deny that nature, the Jewish way is to celebrate that nature. And I would say one more thing. The Jewish way is to say that God is actually in all these questions. That is who we are. We are the people who see God in all the questions, not in the answers. We know that there are answers we're never going to get, but we're not willing to stop asking the questions, not willing to stop figuring out, to not willing to stop rolling in the dirt, because that is what it means to be a human being and to be a Jew. We'll conclude with, as we always do, Yitgadal v'Yitgadash Shemei Rabbam. Bi'alma divra kirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei rabam v'varach le'alam li'amei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpoar v'yitromam v'yinaseh. V'yidadar v'yidaleh v'yidalal shemei d'kudisha b'richu. Li'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran b'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabam min shemaya. V'chayim alenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav. Hu yaseh shalom. Alenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Thank you, friends, for being with me. We'll see you again next week.